Let's do Black Cab first. Again, that's on Shutter, and I'll just start out by saying would not recommend. But the main reason why I was interested in it, what's his name? Jack, not Jack.
Nick.
Nick Frost. I almost said Jack Frost. It's like,
I
no
watched it.
way. Nick Frost, which if you don't know, that is the dude from Shaun of the Dead. He's the
Yeah.
fat, lovable fella from Shaun of the Dead, and I do think he's really good at it. And basically, he's a cab driver. And spoiler alert for this movie. He's a cab driver, and he picks up this woman. This woman, we don't know if she's pregnant or if she lost her baby, and yada yada yada. She's seeing fucking ghosts, and we turn out there's this ghost that Nick Frost made a deal with, where he lost his kid, and he's going to make this trade where he's bringing this ghost, this pregnant woman, and they're going to make this swap. You take her baby, and you give me back my child. And that's basically what it boils down to. But it starts out like it's just this kidnapping. Oh my God, I've been abducted and thrown into a back of a cab. But it was like for the first 20 minutes, I'm like, yeah, okay, fuck it. This is pretty cool. Yeah. And then I just could give less and less and less of a shit as it went. But there were a couple jump scares that got me. I will give the movie that. Like it did get me a couple times with that fucking ghost. But what'd you think?
No, yeah, I'm right there with you. Like this is a movie just like background noise and just to like watch, you know. I feel like if you're a fan of Nick Frost, definitely check it out. He's always given solid performances.
He's even the best part of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Main actress is decent, you know, for what she has to work with, but it's just like I don't like, you know, I don't know what if this was supposed to be more of a ghost story, but because if it doesn't really work like that, you know. But as a like suspense kidnapper thriller, and it's a little horror thriller, it kind of, you know, it was kind of cool, you know. But I don't know, I feel like this movie, like you said it perfectly. It's very hollow. There's nothing. I guess they try to add stuff here with like the backstory and shit, but it really amounts to anything.
There's the makings of a decent movie. I've seen movies that do things that this movie does, and it does it well. You're learning these little bits of information. You nailed it when you said the actress does a good job, which I think, I thought I had her name. I'll look for it in a minute. But she does a good job for what she has to work with. There's just nothing there. They didn't really write her any good lines, and then just her boyfriend sitting there fucking hung up the whole time, just like, oh, let's write him out of it. Okay, let's just knock him unconscious for the whole movie. Like the shit like that just felt really cheap. And like I put in my notes, like I think I was like 40 minutes into the movie or 30 minutes, like just super directionless. Like you just don't, and I guess that they're trying to string you along about what Frost's intentions really are. The plot, they got to kind of hide that, but I don't know. There wasn't enough there to really. There wasn't enough little suspense moments like, oh, she almost got away, and just bits like that that were done well. There was a couple, but they weren't enough to, you know, be really entertaining and keep it going.
Now, to its credit, I was gonna say it wasn't a terrible movie. So I'm trying to, you know, I want to highlight something nice about it. I will say for the setting, it was kind of, you know, it was kind of cool. Like for the most part, took place in the cab and shit. I'm always wary about checking movies out that take place in like few singular locations, because it's like that's either gonna work really well or it's gonna be really boring, you know. Here, you know, it wasn't done really well, but it worked. You know, I was never like, oh my God, the damn car again. You know, it's the shot of the back seat, and so you know, I feel like it was maybe a first time director. You know, because the twist just wasn't enough. You know, and then I guess with that being said, we don't really have enough answers for the stuff that's set up, because it's like, I don't know if Nick Frost's character has been going around like I thought he had been going around kind of doing this to people, you know, like. But if you just trying to kidnap one person to make an exchange, you know, I was a little lost on that.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know what? I hadn't even thought about that till you said that. I feel like at one point during the movie, it's implied that this is a thing that he does. He certainly seemed like he wasn't, like he was used to doing it. And he was maybe taking some enjoyment out of doing it. He wasn't just, oh, I'm sorry, I've been put in this situation, so I had to kidnap you. He was also a kidnapper, which didn't really jive. Did the performance kind of remind you? Not nearly as good. Nowhere near as good, really. But in the same vein as John Goodman in 10 Cloverfield Lane. Just this big guy that's known for being a lovable kind of, you know, actor, but he's like extra scary in this.
there's like a little unhingedness to them, like
Yeah.
just waiting under the lid, waiting to pop off. No, yeah, Nick Frost, he's got that too, where it's like he's usually known for playing that like lovable, goofy,
Yeah.
but he's got like a I forget what role it was in, or there's like a show I seen him in where he like shaved his head and he was like a brawler or some shit like that. And I
Oh,
was like,
really?
oh, he pulled this off quite well. But he's a goofy dude, but he's this dude who's like got an edge to him, you know.
Yeah, there's something to that too when you have like a comedian or you have someone go against character or against type
Yep.
or whatever you would say. Like it's like, oh god, like there's something uncanny about seeing someone so
Yes.
lovable be creepy. All right,
Yeah.
well, dude, I honestly, and I figured this would be the case. When I finished the movie, I'm like, I can review this in fucking 2 sentences. There's just, you know what I mean? There's just not much there. It's a cool idea, but it felt like this could have been an episode of the X-Files or something
Yeah.
like that. You know, this could have been not necessarily a short, although that would have been just fine, but like a 45-minute.
45 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's definitely it. There's something solid or entertaining there. The other stuff, it just kind of feels like it's meandering around and like it's filler in a sense.
yeah. Doesn't it seem like he's driving fucking forever? Like
Yeah,
like
and
there's no passage of time.
no, that's what I'm saying. And I remember the dude told him to drive in the beginning, but then it's like you get on the road. It's like, how long is this goddamn road, my man?
Right.
Before you reach your destination. And I
How
swear,
bi how big is that fucking island? They're in the UK. It's like, "Oh, you would
yeah.
have drove off the edge by now. They've been driving forever."
uh, what? Hold on. There was and then it's like I feel like he brought up to Eileen, his wife thing, quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I feel it was like kind of filler because it's like we never truly learn what any of that is about because it's like at the end, surprise, his wife called him. But I thought like they never really answered it, but I kind of had thought like maybe he snapped and killed his wife, and this was just him kind of going through the motions. But it's like, oh look, it's Eileen calling me.
Right.
And I don't know that it was just like you said, a 45-minute episode of the X Files or a show would have worked
Yeah,
perfect.
something
'Cause-
like that. Fit it into a something where it would fit better. Sale saying, "Haven't seen it either, but good to know. Not a recommend." I mean, you could spend there's worse ways to spend an hour and a half, but there's also just way better ways. I wouldn't
Well
I
said.
wouldn't rec I would say it's a skip unless you're a diehard Frost fanatic. Then it's worth checking out. Other than that, I would say definitely not. Let's go ahead, man. Before we get into I Saw the TV Glow, let's just rate this thing out of 5, and then we'll jump into that film.
All right. Out of 5. I will give this one a generous 2.
Yeah, generous too.
Generous 2, because like I think you said perfectly. You could find worse ways to spend an hour and a half, but you could certainly find so much better.
Right.
This is just kind of it's there. It's filler. It's if you love horror stuff and you've seen everything and you're just kind of looking for something to watch, this is watchable, I guess. But there's I couldn't, like you said earlier, I don't think I would ever recommend this to somebody.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing there they're gripping to really
Yeah.
worth. It's not worthwhile.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely it's not worth your while at all, and I'm right there with you. I love the way you put it. This is a very generous too, and a big part of it is just like, oh, cool. It's cool to see Dick Frost because I haven't
yeah,
really seen him in anything other
yeah,
than the stuff he's done with Simon Pegg. But I'll give it the other bit is it did get me. It's a horror movie, and like some of those little jump scares got me. I like when the
true, yeah,
cab pulled up and you could kind of, it's like, oh shit, did I see something in the back seat? Like that
yeah,
was kind of cool how subtle it was. And then she says she saw something. What'd you see? There's nothing back there. That was kind of a cool moment. But yeah, other than that, you do better, Shutter. I was a little suspicious just like because of the release time. That had me wondering, like, well, maybe if it was worth your while, they would have released it in October. But I'm like, well,
yeah,
maybe they're trying to like get that Halloween hangover, and this is a good time to. A lot of people are still into horror movies, so I think it was the latter. I think they were like, let's just squeeze this one in here.
yeah.